Hey, mighty peeps. Time for some Thursday tips, including I said that you ever hear that saying from your mom, probably most likely, that, if your head wasn't screwed on straight, you'd probably lose it. Uh, I feel like that's been me lately. And I think we all go through that at various times in business as business owners, as parents, as adults, as spouses, as partners, as volunteers. We got so much stuff going on, we're afraid we're going to lose our shit. And we're going to lose our heads if they weren't screwed on. And sort of the good news, bad news is there's tons of tools out there that can help us. But that's part of the problem. There's tons of tools out there. And anybody who's been with me in my mighty Marketing Mojo community for any length of time knows that I have a love-hate relationship with my friends, the Post-it notes. Deadly useful, these little things, keeping your ideas, keeping you on track. But then what happens when they're stuck all over the bottom of the monitor or all over your desk? And, your desk now looks like it's got a case of the, chicken pox post-it note-itis. I also, I'm a digital person. I've got my apps, I've got my phone. I even have, this is my Rocket notebook. I didn't know that I was going to show this today, but I am. This is super sweet because you can write things in it. It'll scan things, send them to the cloud, and then you erase it. Super sweet, super cool. But I've also got pen and paper. I go through, about a ream of legal pads per year. And what the camera's not showing you right now is all of the file folders that I have, where all those pieces of paper are stuck. Not always the greatest solution, folks. And I'm here to walk my talk and to tell you that I know what happens and I know how it can be. And I'm also having to toggle to make sure that I have the comments back turned on. And we get like that. There's just stuff everywhere. I know that I've got friends who are moms, and one of the business owners, I know Erica Grant swears, and she tells us and teaches this and practices that, it's the Google shared calendars that keep her and her family from losing it. And I think that I should probably have a shared calendar with my husband, and there's only the two of us, so that we don't have moments like, this afternoon where he came to me and said, do we have anything going on next Tuesday? Because I'm like, yes, we do. He's like, oh, yeah, I didn't have that on my calendar. I'm like, so what do we do? What do we do? Because we don't want the paper to take over our desks. We don't want to wander around in business with our heads falling off, because then we can't serve our clients. We can't serve our audiences. And you're going to have a marketing meltdown when we can't remember what we're supposed to be doing, and there's 47 different things we could be doing. And I send emails every week with my 30-minute marketing suggestions. Yeah, y'all caught me. I didn't send one this week. So you still got time. This will cover us until next week. Taking 30 minutes. This is what I did yesterday, and I started with 30 minutes, and I think I gave myself another 30-minute timer block. Use the timer apps on your phones. Use whatever it works. That while we want to be productive with our 30 minutes of marketing per day, sometimes the best use of that 30 minutes can be to get organized so that we know what we're doing in the next 30 minutes of marketing. So for me, that meant taking a lot of the pieces of paper that were sitting in I also snagged this, it's a folder, and it's supposed to have like projects and your now and your to-dos, and I'm not using that part of it. I am using it because it keeps everything together, and it has to keep going back and forth with me in my office in my backpack. But they're still pieces of paper, and I can put the pieces of paper out of sight, out of mind. That's what happens to the nice, pretty folders that are up here on my desk organizer and in the filing cabinet under my desk. The pieces of paper get filed into the folder, and it's as if they don't exist anymore. Poof! Well, that's not a good system either. Trello. So, I am now going to hit the little funny feature on StreamYard that lets me show banner. And I also promised you, because Eric called me out on this. I said I was going to show you the Trello board during our last Facebook Live. And I got so excited I forgot to show you the Trello board. So now I'm going to show you the Trello board. Most importantly, I'm going to let you copy this Trello board. Because honestly, over the last 5 or so, now it's like 6 years in business, and I've been in business almost 10 on my own. Trello is the tool that I use most often to help keep me from a meltdown and to organize my thoughts. And I love Trello so much, I went and created a training on how to use Trello. And I created sample training boards, and I'm going to show you one of the training boards. And I'm going to be able to do that because I'm using this cool tool called StreamYard, and StreamYard lets me share my screen. So now we're going to do that. And I'm going to click the big button here. It says share screen. And it's like, cool. What am I going to do? I'm going to share my screen. I'm like, yeah, share my screen with 2 monitors. Select the window that I want to. See, I'm completely, nope, that's not it. That is so not what we want to be sharing on screen. It's been a while since I did this. Oh, well, so we're going to stop that. And we're going to stop that screen. Here's what we're going to do. Sorry. We're going to move that tab to a new window. Let's move Trello over here. Folks, sorry. This is what happens when you get out of practice doing your Facebook Lives. You forget where all the buttons and the features are. So now we're going to share screen. Share again. Yes. Oh, here we go. Now we're going to allow that. Much better. And let's see if I can't make that even bigger. So what we have over here is a Trello board. This is called my Now Next Ideas training board. And training meaning that I've used it in my training. This is a public board that you can copy. And the link that's down here in the window, and that I'm going to put into the chat, because I can do that. Put this in the comments. Copy. Go to comments. I can say checkout and copy this board. So when you go to Trello, it's going to take you, you have to be logged into your own free Trello account. There's a ton of organizing tools out there. I've checked out and probably reviewed or tested a whole bunch of them. For some folks, your brain is going to like Asana better. And I hope I didn't just share that comment twice. Some of you are going to like Teamwork. Some folks and organizations, I know my nonprofit for a while used Basecamp. Basecamp was paid. Asana and Trello both have really, really robust free options. I used Zoho years ago. A little too clunky. Think it's gotten better. There's a lot of tools out there. I also still have an Evernote account because I keep a lot of things in Evernote from when I'm going around. I use the notes feature on my iPhone. But for business, especially for business, to keep content ideas straight, to keep straight what I have bought training programs on, to know what courses that I'm potentially working through. When I've got an idea, I'm like, oh, this would make a great blog post. Oh, this would make a great Facebook Live. Oh, I should put that in an email. It's in Trello. And one of the reasons it's in Trello is because Trello goes with me where I go. Trello's living in the cloud, and it's wonderful and gorgeous in my browser, and it works right here on my phone too. And so that's an easy way that whenever I've got that idea, I can dump it to the right place, and I know I'm going to be able to find it later. I can get the Post-it notes off of my desk. I can get all of the scribbles on the pieces of paper saved somewhere, and not just saved somewhere, but turned into checklists. Turned into things I can check off. I can see when I'm doing them. I can attach it to the calendar and a due date and a notification, which means I can take action on it. It's no longer just an idea that's rumbling around in my head waiting to fall out when some other new shiny idea comes along, or when something in our personal life comes along, or when I'm just tired. It's really easy right now, especially for us to just get overwhelmed and overloaded and tired. And then those great ideas that you might have had for your business or for something that you're going to share and you're going to talk about go, poof. And we can potentially have one of those marketing meltdowns. Well, we don't want that. So Trello, when you get into Trello, and I'll see if I can scroll here because it's not as big on the screen that I am sharing with you as I would like. You're seeing more of me. That helps. Clicked another button in StreamYard. Love that. So what this tells you, you're going to wind up at a menu. And often you wind up when you go to a public board, I can let you copy this into your own account in Trello, your own free account. And what it often gives you is you land here. I'm like, well, this is the board. This is the description for it. You need to make sure you click to get to menu. And you're going to look for those 3 little dots that say more. And you're going to copy the board. Copy the board, puts it into your own account. Everything that you see on this screen, this sample, winds up in your personal Trello account where you can use it. So what am I doing for this? This is like this giant brain dump, and it starts literally, you can see there's the card that says brain dump. And I've also got this, there's here tips on how to copy a board and how to use it and how to use Now Next Someday. All of this is built in for when I created the training program that I did, showing you how to use Trello and how you can use Trello too. And so some of the things that when we talk about business that keeps us from the marketing meltdown, I track any of the content purchases that I've made. If I have licensed content that I want to make sure that I'm using, I will track that. If there is a training course that I have purchased and I want to make sure that I am taking action on it in the next 90 days, then it's going to be here, and it can get a little label, and it can have, a due date. Oh, look, here, this is the Mighty Marketing Trello training. And I could see I could add a due date because that's a feature that's enabled on this Trello board. If there's software I've purchased and I want to make sure that I have got it installed and I am using it, it goes here. But then I have these things like what's going to be now and what's going to be next. Now meaning this week, this month. Next meaning not immediate, but maybe sometime this quarter. And so, for example, one of the things that I was doing, and I copied this. I copied this entire card and this entire set of checklists from one of my other Trello boards, my personal ones. I'm working, and this is how we avoid the marketing meltdown and we keep intentional and focused with the marketing, is that I know I have this course. I'm excited. I'm going to be starting it soon, and it's going to take you from, oh my God, the email marketing technology has got me completely stuck, and I'm not building a list because I don't have a list because I got stuck on the technology and how to set it all up. And we're going to get you set up, and we're going to show how to create a form and a list and how to connect it to your website and where those opt-in forms go and what's a landing page and what's a thank you page and the easiest, simplest ways to store your free gift and brainstorming your free gift, which is great. I've got this course, but it needs to be promoted. It has marketing pieces around the course. So I've been thinking about, okay, well, I've got blog post ideas, blog posts that I can write about that are going to be evergreen, but can promote this course now and in the future. And I've got some ideas that have come to me from licensed content that I've purchased over the years. I've also got some ideas that are going to possibly be good for making a video for Facebook or to put on to YouTube. So I put those ideas, that brain dump here. And I'm like, oh, I could run a 5 or a 10 or even a 30-day challenge. And so here are some of the ideas that might work from a challenge perspective. And then if I wanted to take this further, I can add due dates here. See, there's the due date part. I'm using the custom fields power up. That's free. One power up free per board. I can use the labels. So I can say that this is I'm not sure which one of those it is. So for the time being, we're just going to label it blue. And I can give it a due date for when I want to make sure that I take action on this. I can add in comments with additional ideas that I have. And as I either take action on a blog post idea, click it off, check it off, or delete it, or archive it so that it's potentially something you can retrieve again later. But now you can see how all of those pieces play together. They're all related to the one course. I can attach the draft of the sales page. I can attach the draft of my promotion emails. I can attach things from Google Drive or other options, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, someplace else on Trello. So I can put all of those here, and it's in one place. I can put the graphics that are going to go with all of this. But the point is, I've taken the things that were on pieces of paper that were scattered in my folders, that were on my desk, and here, they've been saved. I've gotten them off of someplace where I could lose it or melt down from it, and it's saved. And not only is it saved, but I've got everything broken down into individual action steps. Let's go back so you can see me. Action steps. And checklists. So you can be able to check it off, and now you're taking action on it. So there's less meltdown potential here. And the most important, is that you get it out of your head, and then you can sort it, because not everything is a do it now. You've probably seen, I recognize this is a little ironic and meta because I'm about to use a Post-it note for this, but it's a little hard to draw inside of Trello. But you've probably seen things that are like that. There's a little matrix, and it basically has things that are urgent versus important. And you're not going to be able to read my handwriting because I can't even read my handwriting. Urgent versus important. And the problem is we sometimes confuse it. It's called an Eisenhower matrix. The notion being that we often confuse things that are urgent with things that are important. Not everything that is urgent and has a deadline is actually truly important. Like if my house is on fire, then it's urgent and important. There might be something that's important about scheduling a doctor's visit, or it might be, that there's something important in your business, related to your bookkeeping and making sure that you're up to date on your bookkeeping records. That's important. But it may not actually be urgent. And that's one of the, email. We tend to treat email as being both urgent and important. No, not really urgent, actually. Actually, most times it's not, unless you've got a client, that's screaming at you about something. So doing things like this is a simplified version of that, because I've got now and I've got next. And then there's maybe someday. What's truly most important and what's truly urgent, and do you have to do it right now in this month? Versus what is something that is maybe important but not so urgent, and you got to get it done in the next month or the next quarter. And sort those things out. The more things you can dump granularly into your brain dump cards on Trello, the easier it is to start moving and dragging things around. So great question. Carol asked me, do I scan the paper into Trello or do I retype and copy and paste for documents? I've done both. So certainly the easiest way is to scan it and then drag the PDFs and drop the PDFs into a card on Trello. Scan it and put it into Google. If it's something that I've typed up already and it's living in a Word document on my computer somewhere, then I can link it as an attachment into Trello. Something that I actually mentioned in the email that I sent to my list today is that I do often retype things. Why? Well, you just got an example of it, folks, because that's my handwriting. And the honest truth of the matter is I sometimes can't read my own handwriting. So if I were to scan all of my pieces of paper in and then attach them into Trello, they would be saved. I'm still not necessarily certain that I could read them and take action on them. So for the act of me retyping certain documents in and or turning them into a checklist, if I've taken them in their notes and I want to actually make it an action checklist into Trello, then I will retype it. Then I get to toss the piece of paper. So that's one thing. Second, it helps reinforce it in my head because I typed it out. There's research on that. And the research actually says that it gets better ingrained when we write it out by hand. So I wrote it out by hand once, then I typed it in. Hopefully I'm really truly going to remember this. But it also helps me to figure out the act of literally typing something and making a checklist inside of a card in Trello. Well, did I really need to keep all of the information that I'd written down on that piece of paper? Was it all urgent and important. Because when I turned it into a checklist, we're like, oh, you know what? I already did that thing that I wrote down. And I've already decided that this other piece that I noted down on this piece of paper, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do that webinar. There's no reason for me to necessarily type it and put it into that checklist. So there's a little bit of both. I'm also going to show you. So this is the board you get to copy. That's the one that's the linked here on the screen. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to hide that just because I can. And because I put it into the comments. And I'm just going to check. So you can see that I've got a whole bunch of other, really quickly, you're going to see I've got a ton of boards inside of Trello. So for example, this is everything content related for me. And so one of the other things that I do, this is all content ideas, my key content pillars, my core topics. I track all the offers that I have available to promote. I keep the links for it. They're all in one place. Everything that's a pretty link, everything that's a shortened link is all in one place. Anything, for example, all of the tools that I recommend most often, and the ones that I have, if I have an affiliate link for them, they all have a separate card in here, which means that I can then copy those to the boards that I use for when I'm writing an email. I can copy them to a Trello board or a Trello card for a blog post. And more importantly, because they're saved in the cloud, it means it's even easier for me to go grab the link wherever I am, or if I'm in the middle of writing an email and I don't have to open up the back end of my website to go find that. You can see that I've transferred things from a brain dump and put them into each of these might be an email that I'm going to send out. I ask you questions when you join the Mighty Marketing Mojo Facebook group about what's your most pressing marketing question. And I keep track of all those because they're going to become answers in emails or videos or blog posts. And each one of these is separate, which means they can be dragged around. You can see it move around on the screen, or copied to something else. So one thing I'm going to say right now, so this same list that was all about the content for the email training, because this is something that I'm working on right now, I want to copy this card and I'm going to send it to, I'm going to send it to a board. I got to send it to that board. And it's going to go to, what week is this? It's going to go to that week. And I'm going to create the card. And nothing changed here because I copied it. I didn't move it. I copied it. So I did it once, and I'm reusing those ideas and putting them in the other Trello boards that I use because I have more than one Trello board. So the point is you find the tool that works for you. You find a tool, you find a system, and you take 30 minutes at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't try and tackle all of this all at once. 30-minute blocks. Yesterday it was a matter of, whoop, I am getting overwhelmed and I can't figure out what I'm doing next. That's the best use of my next 30 minutes, is to get the items off my desk and out of my head and into Trello where I can take action on them because I can more clearly see them and see them as next steps. If for you that's using Evernote, go use Evernote. If for you you love Asana better, go use Asana. I do encourage something that's in the cloud-based tool because then it goes wherever you are. So that if you've got a few minutes when you're standing in line, that now socially distant, very spread out line in Target, and you have a great thought, boom, you can pop it into Evernote or to Trello and your favorite app and record that and be able to take action on it later. And then you're also not looking at a desk that's covered in Post-it notes. So, for example, no, I'm not going to scan this one. This one's actually going to go in the trash. But I encourage you, whatever tool it is, if you've got another tool, if you've got another system, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I love to check things out still. If you're using Trello, give me a shout out. Let me know. Let me know what you love most about Trello, or if you learned something different here. And if you want to to learn to use Trello even more, I will put the link for the Trello training. You can do it as a self-study course right now still. I go back in, and as I learn more things in Trello, I record additional bonus videos and add them in the course. So even if you took it back in the winter, there may be new videos showing up in there, because I know there's some new color coding features that are available that I still need to play with. So the main thing is, do what you need to do to avoid that meltdown, to give yourself a break, to get the ideas out, because if they stay in your head or they stay on post-it notes, then chances are you aren't taking action. And I want you to take action. Inspired, imperfect action. So, excellent. Richard, you enjoy the course on Trello and you're using it more effectively. That is awesome to hear. I am so excited about that. And if you didn't already have that board, you can go copy that board. Every now and then I have to remember to go back and walk my own basics so my head doesn't literally come off, and to go back in and spend a little time with my Trello and get reorganized and to get things cleaned up so that I avoid, the same issues of overwhelm that face a lot of us as business owners. So appreciate it. Stay cool. Don't melt down. And go have a rest of your week. Be mighty. I'll see you next week, folks.